I want to start off by welcoming all the new people to the channel. My name is Donovan. For some reason my last video was doing like really well. I have no idea why, but a lot of people joined on the channel and I just want to say hi to everybody. Hope you enjoy the build so far. I get a lot of questions about what cam I went with and why I went with this certain cam. As you guys know, I've had some tuning issues. I've gone through a couple of tuners, blah blah blah, but I've never actually detailed which cam I've went with. A few people know because I've kind of hinted, or if people have DM'd me, I've kind of told them. But in this video, I'm going to tell you guys why I went with the Cams HRT Stage 2, the reason why you should or shouldn't, and some sound clips and stuff. So if you guys are new to the channel and this is your first video, this is a 5.7. It's the Charger RT that has pretty much everything you can bolt onto it. It has a cam, which isn't really a bolt-on, but cam, headers, differential, 392 intake manifold intake. It's on E85 as well, so it's pushing some good power. Still deciding what's coming next for it, but there's a lot of content I still want to make with the cam, performance-wise, sound-wise, whatever. But I'm gonna get in the car, we'll go for a quick cruise, and I'll talk about a few things with you guys. But let's get a cold start first, since I don't think I've actually done like a cold start normally since it's been on E85 and with the cam. So let's do that. So before I get more comments about it, I know that my exhaust tip is off a little bit. The right one hangs a little bit lower than the left one. I'm going to fix that. I just haven't felt like getting under the car recently. So the first thing people are gonna ask is, why didn't you hear much low when I cold started it? I'll address that right now. My current tuner only tuned it for straight up performance, which I personally don't mind. But when I had the car email tuned, that tuner was much more focused on making it sound good as well, which Alex could do over at his shop. He just hasn't done it yet. But you can get good sound out of this cam, and I will show you guys a couple clips here. So the reason I switched from my email tuner was because I had a lot of drivability issues, and some of those drivability issues are still there, and we're still kind of working on it. As you heard, the car surged a little bit there as I came to a stop. Sometimes it still does die on me. Not as often as it did with the email tune, but it still does. That's still just a thing that Alex said they needed to fix, whatever. It's kind of a side effect of having a car with a big cam sometimes. I don't have a torque converter and stuff, which kind of leads me into the next discussion. Why did I choose the Stage 2 over the Stage 3? So the Stage 2 cam is sub 600 lifts still. It's not a huge cam, but as B. Mason says, if you guys aren't familiar with B. Mason, people call him Professor B. He is a super knowledgeable guy on Mopar, Hemis, whatever. His own words were that the Stage 2 is probably the biggest cam I would put in a 5.7. So for the 5.7, it's a pretty decently large cam, and because of that, it can be difficult to tune. In my opinion, drivability is incredibly difficult to tune for, since everybody has different levels of acceptable drivability, and it's something that you can't really perfect with an email tune. So if you get this cam, or if you get any similar cam, don't even bother email tuning it. Get it dyno tuned. So yeah, there were a couple of little drivability things here and there with this cam, and there still are, and there still always will be, but it's just something you got to deal with. Next are the power numbers. Now, as you guys know, I haven't released my official power numbers, or at least the final ones, for this car, but I do know a couple other YouTubers that do have this cam and have released their power numbers. So, TrackPack RT, he's a super nice guy. He has a beautiful 6-speed black Challenger RT. He put down about 400 wheel horsepower with this cam and with long tube headers. They were having issues with the car's power falling off on the top end that they're still resolving. I personally think it's going to put down probably 410, 420 wheel. My car, the most recent numbers I released were the SAE corrected 425-ish wheel and torque. I will say that if you don't have like headers and stuff, you're obviously not going to get that power. And then if you don't have mods like the 392 intake manifold, you're going to feel a loss of power on the low end, which is kind of expected with bigger cams, but it's something to keep in mind. I've heard some people say their car feels like kind of a turd when they don't have like E85 and a intake manifold on this thing. So that's something to keep in mind. So in terms of driving the car around and just how the cam feels, obviously, like I said, you lose a little bit of low end, whatever. I will say that this cam wakes the top end up on this car like you wouldn't believe. The stock cam on this car is terrible for top end. This is basically a truck motor, the 5.7, and so it's more kind of engineered for low-end torque production. So having that bigger cam makes it feel like a completely brand new car on the top end. The car just died on me. Whatever. But yeah, from, you know, the top end, you're, other than a blower, you're not gonna have anything that does better than a cam like this. I know that's something people are really worried about. They're like, what does the butt dyno say? I will say that it is a lot more fun to drive. With regards to the parts, I paid for the kit that was $1,300 that didn't come with the lifters. Instead of using the comp cam lifters, I used Hellcat non-MDS Mopar lifters. And I really liked the comp cam kit because it comes with, you know, the locks, retainers, valve springs, and everything already kind of engineered as a package. And that was good because I am not an automotive expert. Like, I'm mechanically inclined, but I'm not an expert on like choosing parts and tolerances and whatever. So it was nice to have a kit that had a lot of that stuff laid out already. And it was 1,300 bucks. So the lifters were about $400, and gaskets and bolts, because you need new head bolts, stuff, ends up costing about $300. Apparently, according to tuners, this cam is very similar to the Comp Cam 270. HRT Stage 2, like I said, is sub 600 lift. It's, I think, 596 on the intake, 582 on the exhaust, with 114 lobe separation angle. It's a 220, 230, whatever. Cam works for the 5.7 and the 6.4. They advertise an 80-ish horsepower gain. From my experience, you don't get that. I would expect somewhere more around like 50-ish. Of course, they're always going to advertise higher, but assuming you have long tubes and stuff already and an intake, I think you'll probably pick up 50, maybe 60 if you have a good tuner. So yes, as I promised you guys, I'm releasing information slowly. For some reason, people on YouTube have a hard time understanding that you kind of have to drip feed some of the information to preserve content. But like I promised, I'm releasing information to you guys as time goes on for the sake of transparency, and since, you know, I have no real reason to hide things other than to space out content. But yeah, if you guys found this video somewhat helpful or informative, please remember to click that subscribe button below. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.